Hey, I'm Tasha, and today I want to talk to you about a term called distant grief. This is Matters of the Heart. Let's talk about this. Distant grief is a term that the Lord just gave me about 10 minutes ago. And so the reason why the Lord gave me this term is because I was asking him, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel off or a little confused, a little shocked, a little bit sad, a little bit thankful, and just like a whole conglomerate of feelings. And so I'm going to tell you a little story today and get a little bit personal. But I received a message from one of my cousins last year, May 2025, telling me that my oldest cousin had stage 4 cancer. And I didn't know how to react. So in my not knowing how to react, she gave me my other cousin's phone number, and I reached out hesitantly because I didn't know what to say, how to say it. Our relationship had been strained for a long time. As a matter of fact, my cousins and I, like the family, it just disintegrated about 9 years or so ago. And so, but you never want your family to be out there alone. And I wanted to make sure that she knew the Lord, because the news had not been good. I was told that she was on hospice, and so I called her. We were able to reconcile a lot of things. I was able to encourage her to fight for her life. And in her fighting for her life, the Lord gave us just about a full year to reconcile. We talked back and forth almost daily, except for here recently, maybe over the past month, it's been a little bit more in between, maybe like once weekly or so. And so this morning at 2:45 this morning, my cousin who initially reached out sent me a message and said that my oldest cousin passed away yesterday or last night. And I got the message about 6 o'clock this morning. She sent it about 2:45 this morning. And so when I read that this morning, I was shocked, because I was like, God, you gave us like all this extra time. We were able to talk and communicate, and we were able to be open with each other, clear the air. And I was like, just yesterday, I was like, God, you gonna let her see that 51st birthday. I'm excited about that. Like, you are amazing. And I just knew that, she had been doing so well. She came off of hospice. She went into like palliative care. But she was, taking chemotherapy. They said, oh, the tumor has, shrunk some. I'm like, yes, you doing it. And to get that message yesterday, actually the last time I talked to my cousin, she said, she got some news that wasn't so good. And so she had just been quiet. And I told her, I said, you know what? She asked me some other questions and I answered those. And I said, you know what? It's okay to be quiet for a little while. I did not know that was the last time I was going to communicate with her. And so to get that message this morning, I was shocked. I was brokenhearted. I was sad, but I was so thankful because God was so gracious and so faithful to allow us almost a full year to reconcile. He gave her more time. Where we thought she was only going to have a couple of weeks, God gave her almost a full year. She was diagnosed last year, April 15th, and it is now April 5th. It's April 5th. Resurrection Sunday. Happy Resurrection Sunday, everyone. She made it almost a whole year, and God was so gracious and allowed us to clear the air. So let me encourage you today. If you have aught against your brother or sister, if you are not talking to that family member, if you just can't get along, you just can't agree, make a way to at least reach out, at least try to reconcile, because you don't know how long you actually have to reconcile. I am hoping and praying that, that reconciliation will happen with the rest of my family, that we will have the time to do that. But I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. So I encourage you to reach out to that family member and try to reconcile, and make sure that they know that Jesus Christ is Lord. She reassured me that her relationship with God was intact, and so she got to meet the Father on last night. I love you, and I'll see you next time.